welcome to Board Game Homies, where a group of friends play, review, and share about all things board games. Sitting around the table today are
Reed, Becky,
Gillian,
and I'm Angela. Today we'll be talking about Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated. AKA Paul Denon can do no wrong, and I would start a revolution where the only pizza toppings we can ever have are pineapple and olives. That's how much I love him. But first, what games are bringing you joy?
So it has been almost a year waiting on my house and permits to go through, and Becky and Gillian surprised me with Bus, which is a game that I hadn't heard of, and I love public transportation. We have not talked enough about Railroad Inc. lately, but I'm sure we'll bring that up at some point in the near future. But I love route building, and I absolutely loved Bus. It was this really interesting worker placement, route building, other things that I can't remember what they were right now, but I really, really enjoyed it and appreciated that being a, yay, your permits went through.
I do need to set the record straight.
Yep.
It was Gillian.
I was not part of this at all. It was Angela and Gillian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Becky is rude.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
She just took all the glory. I even said her name first.
I didn't do anything.
She doesn't care because she probably had no way of burning down your house like I did, but
Yeah, you
still,
felt guilty.
Absolutely, 10,000%. I almost got you Tokaido the Essential Edition. But I felt that'd be bad juju.
No, I was like, why is this bus game in the bedroom? Why is
I was
it
like,
here?
oh, Angela and I got this for Reed.
Secret side text.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. I'm so sorry that I didn't thank you.
Oh,
I
that's
just
fine.
thought it was them.
I'm very humble. Don't worry about it. Also, I think that Gillian really wanted to play. He's like, "Girl, go in on me." So,
No.
so Becky, don't get mad at
No,
me.
it was really funny because I had I told Angela, or you had mentioned Bus, I think, and I was like, oh, I was thinking about getting that for Reed. Do you want to go halvesies? And you're like, oh yeah, sure. So we
Yeah, I
went.
really wanted to play Bus too.
It was great. Especially after playing Pan Am, which is like similar energy. And we just really liked that.
Yeah, I think like the thing that's really interesting about Bus is the action programming. Like it's worker placement, but it's in sequence. So you put them in different spaces of the board and then you carry them out in very specific orders. And in like Pan Am, there's the bidding mechanic in that one area to get, I think, flights or contracts or whatever. But then in Bus, it's very much just like from the top of the column to the bottom, and you just do it in order. And so I like the programming aspect of the worker placement.
It's like time travel.
Oh, there's that component
There's like
too.
literally time travel in this Bus game. It's really cool.
And I loved it, and it screwed people over a couple of times. It was great.
Well, especially there was one time where you're like, I'm going to mess with everything. Then you didn't. And then it was like, I don't even know how to respond to this.
The time travel was a shocker. I highly recommend the Rodney video for Bus, and the way he put it was just perfect. He was like, and there's time travel. Wait, did I just read that right? Yes. And I had the same like reaction listening to him. I was like, wait, what? Because I had no part in buying this game, so I didn't know anything about it other than there's public transportation.
Getting people to and from work, the bar, somewhere else.
Their house.
They're out home.
They're home.
Sorry,
people have
Reed.
homes.
Sorry, Reed.
I know. It's okay.
I can't wait to update the pod with pictures of your house. It'll take like another year, but I'm excited.
There's a little mini bulldozer right now. That's progress.
That's cute. A game that's bringing me a lot of joy, and I'm very happy that there is a board game arena version of this game, is the Guild of Merchant Explorers. We played that a couple of weeks ago. Reed was at a board meeting, so just the three of us played. And again, I think I talk about it enough at this point, where I'm just really particular about what my multiplayer solitude games are. And I really like the mechanics. You basically are literally a merchant explorer going around finding treasure, and you're just moving cubes around. And it's dictated by these actions. So it's kind of like a flip and move. But it was really nice. I liked the production. I liked the little cubes. I liked putting up a little castle. It's a quick play. I wanted more of it when I was done. It's asynchronous, so it was very fun. And I just was like, yeah, I like this game. This is a great lightweight game for us.
It's really lovely. I thought about picking it as my joy game again because I have really been enjoying it. And I'm also happy it's on BGA. I think it's a pretty good implementation.
I did enjoy it, Becky. I did not know how to play it, but I did play the tutorial and still didn't understand. But you beat me by 100 points, and I would like to play again. I don't know if you're supposed to beat anybody by 100 points, but yeah, I'll play it again.
I definitely want to show you how to play in person. Maybe we can do that after this podcast episode.
My Joy game is one that I don't currently have in hand, but I've been thinking about a lot, and it's a sequel to one that I've played in the past, and that is Tales of the Arthurian Knights by WizKids. It is a game that's very much kind of choose your own adventure style game, where in this you are playing different Knights of the Round Table and going on adventures throughout the British Isles, completing quests and in the quest for the Holy Grail and what have you. And it's a sequel to Tales of the Arabian Nights, which is a much older game. I think it's, is it 20 years old? Is it older? I don't remember. But it is one that we played a few times with some of our friends that we made here in Eugene early on. And they had the game, and it was just a delight. I remember thinking I wouldn't like it, but it was just a zany time of sitting around their coffee table, passing the books around, and presenting options to people like, oh, what do you do when you encounter the djinn, like that pops out of the lamp? And then you're presented with 5 options, you choose one, and then they have to open up the book and kind of read what happens as a result of your choice. And so I'm really looking forward to Tales of the Arthurian Knights because I've always liked the kind of King Arthur tale. And so I'm really looking forward to trying this one. And I managed to get a copy recently, and it'll be delivered next week. And looking forward to getting that one to the table.
I'm excited to check out the actual book that's in that box because it's a big ol' tome.
It is. No, it's a tome. Also, correction. Angela just presented the BGG page. Tales of the Arabian Nights is actually, they're releasing their 40th anniversary edition. So it's 40 years old. It's been around for a long time. And so this is a sequel to that, kind of inspired by Tales of the Arabian Nights.
My Joy game right now is Torchlit. We played it at Angela's for the first time. It was Reed, Angela, and myself. I just loved looking at it. Like before even playing the game, I was obsessed with looking at it, and the cards feel nice, but it's the colors are very vivid. Excuse me. The colors are very vivid and also high contrast. And for being dungeon creatures and monsters, they're so adorable. And some of the suits have different artwork for the different numbers. It's a trick-taking game, and it has a lot of different variable mechanics in the trick-taking game. That makes it sound like there's a lot going on, but you are bidding for how many tricks or making a bet for how many tricks you can take, and then it's a must follow unless there's the trump suit played. And then the thing that is most different is the lowest number. One gets to decide which point becomes part of the dungeons to score, and then also starts the next trick. Which the first game I was a little thrown off by it, but I also enjoyed it and felt like it was necessary in order to move your little explorer through the dungeons to get to where you needed to be for your bet. But I just kept thinking about it, and I came home and I told Gillian about it, and I was like, oh, it's so pretty and I really liked it. Reed didn't really like it, which is okay, but I really liked it and it was so pretty. And then Gillian surprised me, and he actually found a copy because it was only printed once and will likely never be printed again.
I think they have a planned reprint for next year, 2026.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, this game was really cool. I think I mentioned wanting to pick it up probably after we recorded. I was like, Gillian, this game came on Tanuki Games. I should buy it, right? And Gillian's like, I don't know. You should probably just buy it. But what is interesting about it is that the game is really fabulous, but how it came into being is that it was a part of the PAX convention's night market, and it's the first one that PAX had done. And it's a play on the Japanese game night market that happens where lots of trick takers get developed in other games, and they do small production runs. And this was a way to highlight smaller creators who weren't going to go to Kickstarter, who didn't necessarily have publishing deals, and to sell the game. And I had heard some good vibes coming out of that. And Little Dog Games published them. The production value is great. This isn't what you would think about as like a hand-done, small-run game in any way. But it is now very hard to get. I think that they may be taking pre-orders, like you said, pretty soon-ish. But just the production value, the vibrant colors, the gameplay. I don't understand why Reed hates it, but I think that's okay. Also, supporting small creators. Again, I don't know why Reed hates it, but, you know, things happen.
I will play it again. I am eager to play it again with all of the love, and Gillian liked it as well. Yeah, you liked it.
Yeah.
One of the things about the cards that I do just want to say is that the cards appear to be a coated linen, and it's really interesting. They do have a different feel and texture than most other cards that we've played with.
Which is why you hate it?
No,
Oh, okay.
just a note.
Are you trying to throw Reed under the
Absolutely.
bus?
This whole
bus,
thing.
yes.
The bus she didn't know I got for her.
Aw. Okay, but in my defense, not about that. That's fine. I was the first one to say that I did not get that for Reed's, just so we all know and remember.
I
But,
don't know. I think Angela's going to cut that part out.
well,
Oh, yeah.
no,
She's
this
gonna
part's
cut Becky
fine.
saying that.
But not at the beginning. Yeah,
No.
rude. No, but I thought that they weren't going to reprint that game.
No. So what happened is when I was looking into it,
See, it has a pre-order link.
I also,
no, if you go to there, it brings you to
Oh,
the
the
New
404
Mill
page.
website.
I also
It's the
thought that
404.
Malcolm got it for you based on the picture that I saw.
So like with Torchlit, it was one that Angela brought to my attention, and Thinker Themer released a video. I watched it and I was like, oh, that sounds really fun. Maybe I'll get it. But then I hesitated, and then I sent Angela a link to Space Biff's review, which was glowing. And I said, yeah, you should definitely get it. Do I want a copy? And I elected not to. And of course, the one copy I don't spontaneously buy, the one game I don't spontaneously buy, is the one Becky absolutely loves and was hard to get. And so I felt like I had to go and try to find it.
Also, the game was really cheap. Like, not really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And I managed to get like the last copy that I could find in the US that wasn't ridiculously priced. And it was from somebody on the BGG marketplace. And so that was good.
Was your copy face value?
No, it was a little more than that. Yeah. But
Always upgraded. Always a more expensive copy than the rest of us, Becky.
Gillian did bring it up. He said, oh, the one time that I'm like, Becky would say that I don't need this game because Angela's going to have it. I guess I'm not going to buy it.
well, it's a rare thing when you come home from playing a game and you're like, I absolutely loved this game. Oh, I would love to have it. Then at that point, I'm like, okay, that's when I know I
As
need
we were
to get
playing
it.
it, Becky was like, I need this game. I need this game.
Yeah.
And I went,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you made me think it'd never be printed again.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't...
at the time, like it was recently revealed that they're reprinting
Yeah, I
it.
didn't think...
Okay.
But so that company is not reprinting it. It's going to be done by a different company.
Little Dog does just, like,
A
small,
single
like
print run.
self-published
Yeah.
stuff. New Mill might pick it up, which is the parent company.
New Mill is what I reached out to them. They said,
Oh.
no, we're only in the business of doing a single print run for small
Oh.
games. And so it's some other company that took it on. I don't know which company, but
There was another good game that came out of that PAX run that I gotta try and track down, but I can't remember what it's called.
PAX West actually has something similar that
Yeah,
they're
it did.
introducing this time around. It's like the Pacific Northwest Game Market is what they're calling it.
And Taylor from Taylor's Trick Taking channel did one at Dice Tower West, a smaller one. This one, I think they had vetted a lot of the entries that had come in, so I was pretty confident about whatever was going to be really great that came out. Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated was published in 2019 and plays 2 to 4 players. It's designed by Andy Clatisse, Paul Denon, and the art is by Clay Brooks, Anika Burrell, Derek Henring, Paul Ramos, Nate Storm, and Alan Visca. It's published by Direwolf Games. It's priced at $110 American dollars. Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated extends the deck building fun of Clank with legacy-style gameplay. Found your own franchise of the legacy adventuring company Acquisitions Incorporated and shepherd your fledgling treasure hunters to immortal corporate glory over the course of multiple games. Your game board, your deck, and your world changes as you play to create a unique campaign tailored to your adventuring party. Be cunning, be bold, and most importantly, be ready. For those of you who've never played a Clank game, let me explain how it works. In Clank, a deck building game, each player has their own deck, and building yours is a part of playing the game. You start each of your turns with 5 cards in your hand, and you'll play them all in any order you choose. Most cards will generate resources, of which there are 3 different kinds. Skill, which is used to acquire new cards for your deck. Swords, which are used to fight the monsters that infest the dungeon, and boots, which are used to move around the board. Every time you acquire a new card, you put it face up in your discard pile. Whenever you need to draw a card and find your deck empty, you reshuffle your discard pile and turn it face down to form a new deck. With each shuffle, your newest cards become part of a bigger and better deck. Each player starts with the same cards in their deck, but they'll acquire different cards during their turns. Because cards can do many different things, each player's deck and strategy will become more and more different as the game unfolds. During the game, you have a few goals. Retrieve an artifact token and escape the dragon by returning to the place you started outside the dungeon. Accumulate enough points with your artifact and other loot to beat out your opponents and earn the title of the greatest thief in the realm. And that's how you play base Clank. Guys, what do we think of this mashup of Clank but in a legacy game?
So legacy games are inherently ones that evolve. So there may be instances where new cards enter play, or for instance, stickers will be added to the rule book that fundamentally change how the game plays. But in this podcast, we're not going to introduce any spoilers or talk about any spoilers regarding Clank Legacy.
Yeah, we'll try and do a really good job of dancing around things while also giving you a really good view of what the mechanics look like and how we felt playing the game.
I thought this was a very fun mashup of Legacy and Clank, which is inherently a deck building game. I've only played one other Legacy game before, that being Pandemic Legacy Season 1. We started the Sagrada
Artisans.
Legacy game, Sagrada Artisans, but only played one of that, so it doesn't really count. So this was my first that wasn't Pandemic. And so I thought the deck building gameplay of Clank was very well integrated with the Legacy game. There were new cards that came up as the game progressed and new objectives came into play. And I thought it all worked really well together. And just the way as the map evolved as you interacted with things was a lot of fun as well. So overall, yeah, I really enjoyed the experience. It was a ton of fun.
This was my first campaign game. I guess you would call it a campaign. I have not played Dungeons and Dragons more than just dying within an hour the first time I played. So probably played it wrong. But this was interesting to kind of embody a character, see the character through a long series of hours of play, which Gillian just totaled 15 for us about with this. And it was something to look forward to each play. And as it unfolded, it was really delightful.
It's funny because when we started playing this game, because there's so many story elements, again, you're adventurers, you work for Acquisitions Incorporated. I thought that the fantasy elements of this game was actually not going to be Reed's vibe as we started playing. I was like, wow, this kind of feels like Dungeons and Dragons meets a deck building game. And Reed notoriously once asked if she could build a character that could just immediately levitate in Dungeons and Dragons. And the answer is no, you can't do that. But I just was like, this is too fantasy. But Reed was like, let's play this again. What's happening? So I thought that was kind of really fun and cool.
It was basically Dune with dragons.
Another Paul Denon game.
Praise be.
Like Gillian, I feel like Clank it's a game that's perfectly designed to be a campaign game, kind of like the role player game that they then turned into a campaign game, because it's a perfect setup for it. You have your deck that you get to build each time, and it gets to change and be more dynamic, and then also the character that you're playing with as well. There are a couple of things that you get to build up on that. And just like as Reed was talking about, getting to be with them through the whole game is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so leading up to this game, I was provided an ultimatum, that being paint the miniatures, or I don't know what the actual ultimatum was. It was basically like, here you go, Gillian, paint the miniatures.
It would be unpainted.
They would be unpainted, and Reed refuses to play a peasant game now.
Oh,
So
it's the worst.
that added a lot of fun to it, just like playing with our painted minis, and the dragon that kind of makes up the dragon track was a lot of fun, and that added some character. The downside, I would say, that I have from the, not really spoiler at all, but the very beginning of the game is like the characters aren't asymmetric at all. They all start with the same starting deck, despite very different kind of builds in terms of the character models and stuff. One being a dwarf with a massive like warhammer, another being a little halfling with daggers. And so I was really hoping before we started the game that whatever character we chose to be would have a slightly different like starting deck, just to add some more flavor to it. And so the role-playing aspect at the get-go wasn't quite where I was hoping it would be. But beyond that, yeah, as the game progressed and you kind of customized your character, ended up working out. It was just, yeah, that initial starting deck was a little disappointing.
Yeah, it's all vibes. I think our characters, by the end of 15 hours, did take on probably a lot of our own personalities through the choices that we made throughout the game. And I like the ability, like, yeah, it doesn't start asymmetric, but because of the type of game it is, it does slowly start dragging you to that way. I really liked the choices you got to make in the story. It reminded me a lot of choose your own adventure books, where you would go, turn to page 42 if you do this, but turn to page 63 if you do this. So I thought it was a lot of fun to be able to choose where you were going to go and where the story went, and if that was communal decisions, or if someone's like, nah, I'm going to be sassy and do this thing. And you're like, no, for the good of the team. So I liked the cooperative nature and just the storytelling, listening to what other people chose to do, and yelling at them when it turned very bad for the rest of us.
Did it feel cooperative to you? Because it did not feel cooperative to me.
I do like that mechanic that they kept from Clank, is you are a band together and you're exploring and you're adventuring, and there are quests, kind of like side quests and contracts that will come up that move the story forward. But at the end of the day, you need to get your artifact and you need to get the heck out of there. And sometimes that means you leave your friends to die. Reed, who was notoriously the only one who once made it out while the rest of us suffered.
That is true.
That's true, Reed. You're one to talk.
Yeah. I did go back all over the map in one game to help, and it didn't even matter. And then I ended up dying.
It could have mattered.
It could have, but it didn't.
Clank, a game of friendship ending bitterness.
What? Gameplay-wise, one thing that I enjoyed that we did that I don't think it's in the actual rulebook, is whenever somebody would encounter something to interact with on the map and it said to read an excerpt from the Book of Secrets is what it's called. We had somebody else read it for the most part, and when they were presented an option, I think we all started to do it where we just said, choose to do this or this, and didn't give them like the full concept of what would happen if they chose one or the other. And so that, I think, added a little more flavor to the game, where it's just like, oh, do I want to be mean? I don't know what the consequences are going to be. Or do I want to be good? I also don't know what the consequences will be. And I enjoyed that component. Added a little bit more role playing into the game.
With that specifically, I like that you weren't rewarded just for being good. Like, there are lots of options, and what you think is the best one isn't always going to end the best way.
Yeah, sometimes even being evil doesn't get you the thing that you want. And you're like, wasted opportunity.
I was going to call Gillian evil, but...
Why are we going to call you
Yeah, I
evil?
thought you were
What
going
did
to
I
start
do?
going into Angela again about your artifact.
How was I evil? What did I do?
No, I don't. I just feel like, well, I can't say anything because spoiler.
I don't think it's a spoiler to say one time Reed wanted an artifact and I took it and she died. And she was very mad about it.
I'm still mad about it.
She's really mad. One of our next pods needs to be, do you hurt your friends or are you a bad person?
Wait, no, I think those are the same thing.
I know.
One thing that's inherent about the legacy aspect of the game is that as you progress through a certain scenario and interact with things on the map, while it is a fun aspect to read and have consequences to whatever choices you make, it definitely broke up the game quite a bit in that as you're progressing through this, you're playing a normal game of Clank or a slightly modified game of Clank, and then you interact with something, you have to pause everything, pause whatever actions that you have remaining, and have somebody read the excerpt from the Book of Secrets, potentially add stickers to the map, potentially draw cards from the Cardporium, and do a bunch of other things that may kind of change how things are looking. And then you have to continue along with whatever you're doing. And so there were some instances where on somebody's single turn, they interacted with several objectives or several waypoints, if you will. And that caused a lot of kind of breakup of the flow of the game. And so compared to how snappy a base game of Clank feels, each game of Clank Legacy definitely felt kind of start-stop and broken up a bit. And by and large, I don't think it was an issue, but there was kind of, in the sequence of play, there were, I think, two or three of the games where I particularly felt it, and it might have just been my mood at the time, but I just felt that jerkiness of oh goodness, this is really annoying me, having to start and stop all the time.
We also did struggle with the order of things, and I would say that there was an instruction for how the game unfolded, and it wasn't clear, and we did play something out of sequence as a result of it not feeling super clear. And then that kind of was a little bit of a bummer as we were finishing up the game to have that, oh, we really should have done this in a different order.
Yeah, the start stop is, I think, very different. If you've played Clank, the regular edition, or Catacombs or Clank in Space, is that the game can move quicker. You're waiting for your turn to come. There's interaction, who's stealing artifacts, who's making their way up. And here you really have to let the narrative story unfold. And that just requires a lot of pauses for, okay, now we're going to read eight chapters. There's also a lot of different things to keep track of because there's the rule book, which is changing. There's the Book of Secrets. There's the Cardporium, which is the box of new cards that'll get revealed. There's the sticker sheet. And so we all kind of had to delegate these roles of who was doing what at certain times, because it's a lot. So you're searching through, trying to find things. And all of that just takes more time. I think ultimately it was worth it to do it, but it's not ever going to be a straight game of Clank.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that we've played Clank in about 45 minutes to an hour, and our plays for this were each around an hour and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels like more of a setup too. So with this game, we can now play it just for fun, which is not part of the campaign, but use some of the parts that came from it. And there's more to set up than in a regular Clank game, which is exciting. And I think in 6 to 12 months, maybe we'll be feeling nostalgic and wanting to see our board again and play our characters. But I think I would be more on the side of playing Clank Catacombs just to pick up a game and play.
I do like what it leaves at the end. That was my concern. When you're done playing, can you play this legacy game again? It does instruct you to get rid of these cards. And I didn't. I just kept them in the back and kept components. So I'm fascinated by going back and just throwing all the components together, and there are bits that if you don't finish, you can play them in the next edition and kind of actually go back to the Book of Secrets to unveil more things that you didn't discover. And I think that will be fun. My problem with original Clank was just more so that the base board could get a little stale after a while, whereas Clank Catacombs is interesting and dynamic and all the pieces move. And I think there's a way to make the replayability of the legacy game more interesting by just saying, I'm throwing all of these side quests back in and we're going to make choices we didn't make before and see what happens.
The game of Pandemic Legacy that we played, it was also similar where you could just have the board state set up to play a game of normal Pandemic. But I know a lot of people did it online, and I wanted to do it and never did it, is frame the board and just hang it and have it as a piece of art, just as like a nostalgia thing, and just have it there. And I think that'd be a really fun thing to do with the Clank Legacy board, is just hang it up and have it there and then pull it down if you want to play it.
I think that's mostly because I don't think this is a spoiler because we mentioned it in our Joy from the Coast, is that you got to name a town. So I think you just want to see me hang it up so you can constantly be visiting your own town over and over again. So rude.
I mean, there's also just a lot of inside jokes. It's like we can point to it and be like, oh, this is the space where Angela still reads Artifact. Mm-hmm. And
that one. I wanted to go back to the minis that Gillian painted, and we will definitely post pictures. I think we posted a couple of pictures before. They're absolutely stunning. Only there was an issue in that Becky chose the red character and Angela chose the green character. And instead of switching the base color that you had, they played each other's character, and I was in charge of Clank, and it was very difficult because I kept being like, okay, Becky's green, but Becky was red. And so there might have been some errors initially with that, but you both probably died, so it didn't really matter.
Whoa.
Wow.
No, I tried really hard.
You did a great job. I was watching and helping.
Yeah. No, red. Red.
I did like the components in this game. The cardporium, which is the box that has all the secret cards hidden, was very easily numbered. I often was the person going and getting new cards. And so while the numbers were small, they were also on the side of the card, so you could pull them without having to look at every card and spoil it. And then the box, this is so silly, the box had a little magnetic click. So every time I opened it and closed it, I was like, ooh, it clicked. I love this. So wonderful. So, it's just the small thing of that box clicking that I enjoyed.
I didn't realize that, and I'm very jelly because my sticker pouch was not like that at all. It was hell. Am I allowed to say that on this podcast? Okay, great. It was awful.
I know. I once went into the sticker pack because Becky's job was stickers.
Stop!
And they're labeled A, B, C, D. And I once went in because Becky was somewhere else, and I was like, why are these all out of order? This is chaos. And then Gillian dropped a sticker onto something, and it was constantly hanging out.
I need to defend myself. Okay, so it's like A through M or more, and there was a lot going on. A lot of stickers were being pulled, and then there was the one sticker that got pulled off when it wasn't supposed to, and it would not stick, and so then it tried to stick to all the other things, and I tried to put it in different orders so it would be better. It was just a lot, and then sometimes you couldn't put the sticker thing down far enough. It was awful. And so it was out of order for a little bit, okay? And that's when you happened to look at it.
I do agree. That envelope was really tight, and I get that they're trying to keep it secret. Like, we're trying to keep things secret from you guys. But a slightly better organizer for that sticker pack would have been nicer. Something as nice as the cardporium, or even just more of an accordion style instead of just a very tight manila envelope would have maybe helped Becky be more organized, but one cannot say.
Rude. We definitely have a lot of stickers left, and I'm curious if we'll experience them when we go back to Clank.
If not, I'm just going to throw them all over the board once we go back. Once we're done, and I'm like, well, technically we don't have anything. I'm just going to throw everything on the board.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
The stickers were mostly awesome. It was very exciting when we got to put them on. I do feel like they could have been sized more appropriately For example, can I talk about them on the cards?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We talked about modifying cards.
Okay. For example, some of them modify cards, but the sticker is wider than the card, so then there's an overhang, which you either have to awkwardly tear off and then it looks bad, or you fold it over and then it marks that card and it just feels weird when you shuffle it. And there are some, like there's one spot where the stickers are perfect and they fit on the card. It's not wider. They're great. So I know that they're capable, and I don't understand why they weren't all sized appropriately.
Yeah, and I would add on just to cards because you're constantly changing and adapting them. We started playing this at the coast, so we didn't have an appropriate level of pen. And so writing on cards is actually really difficult. You need a good pen, or you need a Sharpie, and certainly a thin point Sharpie. And so some of the cards look real janky with our ballpoint pens. But I think that's part of the experience and kind of the like, why is this card so messed up?
I do wish Legacy games would come with a pen that would write well on all the things they want you to write on. That would be really thoughtful.
I will say one thing gameplay-wise, going back to that, and components-wise, that was missing in this play compared to Pandemic. Angela was hesitant and refused to tear any cards, even though it said to trash them.
It's part of the excitement.
That was one of the fun things about Pandemic Legacy. But admittedly, that was different in a way. It felt different. Like something would happen and you're like, oh, this thing is no more at all anymore on this board, so I get to tear it.
I have such a hard time with
Yeah,
that.
thank you, Reed. Ew, gross. No, thank you.
We're going to make you guys do that when you do Pandemic. We'll buy it and then we'll
I'm
tear
getting
it.
anxiety.
Yeah, both of you look so uncomfortable.
Well, that's one of the things I like about this game is legacy games. One, they're really expensive. I bought this one on sale around the holidays, and it was kind of like my group homey present for us to play it. But replayability and whether or not you spend that much money on a game, yes, we played it for 15 hours. So if you were to do the price per play, that might be like, because I got this on sale, maybe $7 or $8 a play. And that's like very worth it. You know, there are games we play once and we're like, that's not for us. So I think it was definitely worth it, but I also have a hard time with the economic or environmental sustainability of games like that. And so I absolutely collected every card and put it at the back of the cardporium. So this game was a really big investment for us in terms of time and money. And we always like to talk about who would this game be good for?
So I'd say this game is really well suited for anyone who's okay with chaos in its truest form, because this game has a lot going on. A lot of chaotic fun was had in the games we've played. But because of that chaos, there's a lot of, inherent in that, there was a lot of luck in the game. From, somebody buying something from the reserve row and then the perfect card arriving for the next person that gives them 3 boots and basically gives them a leg up for traversing the map. We had several instances like that, especially Angela, who would always buy the card I wanted right before I had an opportunity to buy it. But the luck component was there, and then with the legacy aspect of going to a waypoint, reading an event, having something big happen that gives you a leg up compared to everybody else, or throws you somewhere else on the map, for instance. Those kind of, the chaos there is fun, but there were definitely a couple of feel bad moments, I think, for me personally, where it just did not go my way, or it went one person's way in particular, and it just ended up coloring that play for me a little bit, which is unfortunate, but it's just inherent in the game. So if you're okay with chaos, if you're okay with luck in the game, I would say this is great. This is a fantastic game, but that little bit of luck can throw, or that I should say a lot of bit of luck can certainly throw a wrench in your plan if you're very much similar to me, where you feel like you want kind of more consistent play.
I think being too chaotic would be very difficult with all of the different things to keep straight. So I think it's being able to be like whimsical and joyful when you're playing the game, because if you were truly chaotic, it would be hard to keep things straight. I am so appreciative of Angela bringing Clank into my life and this game into my life. I'm glad that it's a part of our collective story, and I like the idea of us potentially playing a legacy game per year. This game brought so much joy to me that I was not expecting to love it and love having a character that I stuck with as long as I did in this.
If you like the Clank experience, I think this game is a no-brainer if you have a group of friends who can commit to a 15-hour adventure. I am not sure how well it would play at 2-player, just because there are times where it really benefited us to have 4 people going 4 different directions, and sometimes 2 of us going in the same direction, just in case. And so I think a 3 or 4 player group would be a lot of fun. I think 2 would be really hard.
Yeah, that kind of ties into the other aspect of the game in that the, I guess, chaotic nature is a way to say it, is like there is a conflict between kind of the competitive nature of Clank, where you're racing for artifacts and doing everything, with kind of the need to collaborate in some instances. And there are a couple of scenarios where that popped up where we're like, oh, we need to do these things. We need to help each other out and get there. But then I'm going to stab you in the back and steal your artifact before you have a chance to get it. So there was that kind of conflict that reared its head a couple times, which was a very interesting experience that I don't think I had a particularly bad experience, unlike Reed.
I just do not approach a game thinking that I'm going to stab somebody. And that is a newer thing. Carcassonne, Clank, like it's just maybe I'm gullible or naive, but I'm like, nobody would do that. I have spent 6 turns waiting here patiently trying to get the cards to be able to move, and then somebody just came in and did it once. What?
I mean, you're the same person that said you wanted to play Blood Rage again, and that's literally a game where you murder other people to get what you want. It's different, she thinks.
She thinks.
The engine is churning, and I'm like,
how do you reconcile these 2 different parts of Raid?
I'm trying to get to Valhalla. Like, there's an altruistic purpose
Yeah,
in
you're
that.
trying to die in Ragnarok with glory. Yeah.
Well, with that point, I do think if you're playing this game, again, you're here to have fun and enjoy the time with the people you're at the table with. You're not playing this game to be hyper competitive and always win and always get everything. It's just not going to work, and it's not going to be fun for the other people around the table.
Yeah, and I think this game brings in what Clank does well, which is it is a game about getting enough points, essentially, to then make it out. And it is a viable strategy to try and get out before your opponents do so that you can be victorious. Becky did that once, and I was like, holy crud, she's making a run for it, guys. She's like, goodbye. And I like and I appreciate that, and I love the dichotomy between co-op versus, oh my gosh, if we don't do this, we'll all die, or like being out for yourself. I think this game is good as long as you go in knowing that how you play it will help set you up for success. So we are really fortunate to be able to play 4 games of it in a day. And that was helpful because I think the game does it well. At the beginning of each session, you read a pre-passage that helps set you up, and then you read a closing passage, and it's very, very clearly laid out the start passage and the end passage. Even though I was like, well, until you get to the end when you're like, which one do I do first? But that being said, it can be a little bit rusty if you haven't played in a while. So making sure that you either reread the rules or you take some time to, like, you'd think that you played 6 hours of it, you should know. But if you're going to not play it for 3 or 4 weeks, you do need to knock that rust off. So having a gaming group that is okay refreshing themselves will really determine like what the play is.
This experience with Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated definitely makes me interested in playing Clank Legacy 2, which just recently came out. And I've seen some pictures, non-spoiler pictures, and it does look very engaging. It's very well reviewed on BGG, so that gives me hope. It's not designed by Paul Denon, which is kind of deviation from the Clank to Dune Imperium kind of games. So that made me hesitant when it was first coming out, but the reviews are there now. I haven't really looked into the reviews, but it's still pretty high up there in score. I think it's still a 9. So that gives me hope, and I definitely want to play it. I think I might be kind of Clank Legacy'd out in this moment, so I need some distance or some space. But once I get that urge, I would certainly be up for playing. That said, there are other Legacy games too that I am interested in playing, one of which is Ticket to Ride Legacy and Pandemic Legacy and maybe Role Player, though I wasn't a huge fan of Role Player.
Guys, all legacy games all the time now. This is a legacy game podcast.
Yeah, what about Artisans again? Sagrada
Okay.
Artisans?
That's the end of the podcast.
No, next up, we also need to play D&D because Reed need to teach her that she can't levitate at level 1.
This is now a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Yay! Thank you for listening to Board Game Homies. Drop us a line on our Instagram, Blue Sky, or Board Game Geek at Board Game Homies. Bye-bye. No?
Do you want to mention no spoilers, or that's just in the stuff?
We could do that in the description after our Joy Games. Because people would probably stay for our Joy Games. Or not.
It's the topics that bring people, Angela. Just kidding.
That's not true.
That's definitely not true.
It's the
Not to-
toppings. It's the toppings.
Pineapple and olives, baby. My favorite pizza toppings.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
Pineapple and hatch green chilies.
Oh,
Yep,
love
that's
that.
the best.
Love
Absolutely not.
that. I like
Perfect.
pineapple and jalapeno.
Spicy and sweet. Yeah, so.
Okay,
Nope.
Wait,
I'm
what?
ready.
Gillian.
We're ready.
Jump in.
Wait, are we doing that again?
Becky!
I was thinking, I almost messed
Oh
up
my
because
God.
I was thinking of Cat King. I was on Cat King.
Hacking. What? He's here? Oh my god. Okay.